Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And
After the horrible, oh my god, oh dear Jesus, no. Dear Kamina above, save me from the pain of The Last Airbender.
The movie, not the series.
Yeah, the series we liked.
Yeah.
Oh,
The movie, very bad.
yeah. Well, we
decided to watch something good.
or what we hoped was good.
Yeah. It was.
Oh, it was Battlestar Galactica: Blood and Chrome, starring the first mission of future Admiral William Adama, in which he goes off to try to do something.
Stuff. Yeah, we probably shouldn't say much or we'll spoil it, but...
When have we ever shied away from spoilers?
Well, that's true, but I don't know.
And let me tell you, if you're a fan of Battlestar Galactica, watch this movie.
Yeah.
Well, the new version, the original version, you know.
This is yeah. So we're here not just to talk about the movie, but we decided we're also going to talk about Battlestar Galactica in general and why we like it so much. I've never seen the old BSG, so
I've seen a few episodes of that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
But it was years and years and years and years ago.
For those of you who don't know, the premise in most versions is basically humanity built robots called Cylons.
No, that's not most versions. That's only in the recent version.
Really? Where did the Cylons come from last time?
Okay, in the original version,
I don't know, Jack.
there was a race of lizards called the Cylons.
Interesting.
And they built robots, and then some stuff happened, and the robots declared war on humanity for over 1,000 years.
Wow. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, please keep in mind that this is based on half-forgotten information from years ago, and it's been years since I last
in the
reviewed
new version is no lizards. Humanity built the Cylons. They rebelled, and there was a war. Then there was a peace, and then the series starts up with there's war again.
Well, calling it war is a little much.
Yeah.
The Cylons come back because they've now found a way to take human form.
Yeah.
And these Cylons, well, they plant a computer virus into the systems.
Our defense systems.
Our defense systems. That pretty much shuts down everything except for one Battlestar.
So humanity gets curb stomped except for this one ship and like a bunch of other little ships that wind up, making a hodgepodge fleet.
The ragtag fleet, actually.
Ragtag fleet, that's the word.
But this is led by the Galactica.
Yep.
Which, because Commander William Adama was really paranoid about computers, never received the upgrades.
Yep, and it happened to be very useful.
Yep. The man in charge of the upgrades is Dr. Gaius Baltar.
Yep.
Interestingly, in the original Battlestar Galactica, Baltar was deliberate in his betrayal.
Ah.
He was Count Baltar. He orchestrated a peace talks.
He's
thing.
using air quotes.
Yeah. In which, humanity and Cylon would come together and say, hey, we're tired of war. Let's be at peace.
Yeah.
The Cylons used this opportunity to kick all our asses.
Yeah.
All of our asses.
Yeah.
So, Adama, who is both commander and president.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He was both commander and president.
Oh, in the original version. I'm sorry.
Pretty
sure. I just lost track of you for a second there.
Decided, hey, you know what? There's another colony of man, despite the fact that they meet mankind like a couple zillion times over the course of their journey.
The original version. Wow, that's
yeah. But, they never settled down because the Cylons are still out there. We must go to Earth, the last tribe of Kobol. Which, interestingly, in the original version, there were much more Egyptian and Mormon references than in terms of religion. In the updated version, it's very definitely a Greco-Roman. But as we saw, there are, especially from this movie, there are Egyptian and Norse things as well.
Yeah. Interesting take on mythology.
Yes. Well, anyways, eventually they reach Earth, leading to the awful show Galactica 1980, where the Colonials have superpowers on Earth because gravity is weaker. And,
wow.
Actually, it pioneered the concept of the human form Cylon.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Two of them were piloting what's known as a super raider. Again, with the finger quotes. It's basically a gigantic frisbee with guns. Yeah, it crashes to Earth. The human Cylon goes to a party and gets taken out by a DJ.
Really?
Taken out, I mean destroyed. And
Right.
I am so not even kidding.
I was figuring destroyed, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but in the new version,
He's a badass DJ, I have to say.
Gaius Baltar, completely unwitting.
Yeah.
He fell for the old honeypot gambit,
Yep.
basically.
A sexy Cylon made him do it.
Yep, Cylon Model 6,
Yep.
played by... I always forget her name.
I'll go look it up while you talk.
She's also the voice of Edie in Mass Effect, which I find hilarious. Anyways, Gaius is saved by her because she's in love with him.
Trisha Helfer.
Yes, that's her. Gaius is saved by her because she loves him and stuff, and all the human model Cylons have a special ability. As long as they're in range of a resurrection node, they can download themselves into a new body. Meaning, I
think we should get to the cut of the main part of the premise first, which is eventually the Galactica with the fleet is running the frick away from a bunch of Cylons and wants to kill us all, and we're trying to find Earth.
Okay, yeah, but...
Okay, that's the main thing. Get back to that part, though.
Okay. So anytime a Cylon dies, everything it knows is downloaded to the Cylon, I won't say collective, because that's a Borg thing, but...
To the servers.
Yes, so they all know it. It's
Well,
not...
no, do they all... Is the knowledge go to everybody, or they just resurrect that one personality?
To answer your question, I'm not 100% certain. It's... a lot of things are left vague, like sometimes deliberately.
Okay. Yeah.
Like what?
Sometimes they retcon too.
Yeah. But anyways, there are 12 models.
Yep. Which is basically 12 actors playing Cylons. You know, it's the same
Yeah,
person physically, but they're, you know...
Yeah, they're
many
clones,
copies.
basically.
There are many copies, as it said in the beginning.
Yeah, and they have a plan.
No, they don't.
That is a lie.
Yeah.
They do not have a
That's the
plan.
problem with this show.
Yeah, and then it was later revealed that, oh, retcon, it turns out that it's the Final Five's plan all along.
Yeah, I never understood that plan.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid.
That didn't make any sense. They didn't... All right, well, so is that pretty much what we need to know about the premise? Adama is leading the fleet.
Okay, and one more thing. There are human Cylon models in the ragtag fleet, and they don't know how to detect them.
Right, yeah. You can't... Well, we invent a Cylon scanner thing later, but we don't have enough time to scan everybody.
And it's not really 100% certain if it works or not. And then later it's revealed that Baltar
just lied one time, yeah.
Yeah, and then later he just said that it's programmed it so it said, oh, it's not a Cylon every time.
Yeah, because he was so sick of testing everybody. Baltar's quite a figure. I remember one of the writers saying he's a guy like you kind of hate, but you love to have him in the story. He's so selfish and all that, you know, and so confused and so like...
Which is where we get to the real meat of why Battlestar Galactica is really good.
Yeah.
The characters.
Yeah. Strong sense of character from everybody.
The story can sometimes be confusing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to jump to the negative, the one clear, obvious negative of BSG is that they did not plan out the story in advance. They basically wrote everything one episode at a time. Major revelations that come at the end of a season were thought up when they got to the end, and they went, oh, you know what? We need to have a cliffhanger for the season. Like, I've actually heard the writers say that, they came up with this stuff spontaneously. So, and it's annoying because there's a lot of implication that there's like a big arcing plot. And number 6 says all the time, like, God has a plan for you guys.
No, he doesn't.
I know. You go back to the first season after having seen the whole show, and you're like, no, it doesn't actually add up to much, really. It doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
The only way that God has a plan is if the God is Q and he's just dicking around with everyone.
Q has a plan for you guys.
Oh, and he's gonna he's just watching and laughing his little Q ass off.
Yeah. So
the
many
ending,
things.
The ending, if you've watched our show by now, you know spoilers abound.
Yeah.
The ending basically turns out that, fuck everyone, we're giving up all our technology to live on this second Earth that's right, they found 2 Earths.
Well,
and one was, like, nuked to hell by ancient Cylons.
Yeah.
That were constructed by a different race of humans that turned out were also Cylons.
Yeah, that was
like a slightly different type.
Yeah.
So eventually they input coordinates found in all along the watchtower if you convert them to music notes written by a baby.
It really does sound weird when you say it out loud.
Where they interbreed with the ancient hominids to form modern man, and 150,000 years from now that forms our Earth.
Yeah.
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 Q being a dick is the only explanation that makes sense in this case.
It was weird. I mean, it was, there are elements in that are so cool. And again, with the characters. Because saying goodbye to each of those characters in that last episode, even though the basic plot didn't quite add up, that was meaningful. Freaking Roz... Oh, God.
Cylon Model 1 was commonly known as Cavill or Cavill or whatever. Finally, you even feel for him, even though he's been like the biggest dick through this entire series.
Yeah.
He had his moments. Like one moment where he revealed that he didn't ever want to be a human model Cylon. He wanted to be a robot model because, like...
He wanted to see X-rays and smell dark matter. Yeah.
I want to stand on the surface of a starship and feel the waves, the wind of a supernova on my metal skin.
Yeah.
It was really kind of moving stuff.
Yeah.
Even if he was saying that humans suck, which I'm not really a fan of, but
yeah.
But still, really moving stuff. Finally, at the end, he's just so fed up with everything because the peace treaty is broken down because, well, character of it. He finally goes, frack, which is their equivalent of fuck, grabs a pistol, blows his own brains out, and drops to the ground. And okay, yeah, this is probably one of the few times that someone blowing their own brains out is hilarious.
Wow, there's a show for you.
In context, it's hilarious, just because you really feel for him. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, but the human drama that they brought into this whole thing.
And Cylon drama.
But
then it turns out that the Cylons are trying to be so like humans that they inadvertently have become too human, and then they're like, which is good because it allows for characters to show up even in alien distorted ways, which is good.
Yeah. But for instance, so the president of the colonial government now is Laura Roslin.
A school teacher.
And she was like Secretary of Education or something.
She was 40th in line.
Yeah.
And then
43rd or 40th?
Yeah, 43rd or 42nd or something. And yeah, she said, "Okay, I'm the last government person alive."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, I punched in my code. What shall I do?" She receives an automated transmission. "Congratulations, you're the president of the colonies. All 50,000 of you."
Yeah, I mean 50,000 people, not colonies. There was 12 colonies. Yeah.
Yeah, 12 colonies. The Cylons nuked everything.
Cylons nuked everything. Anyway, but she, in the very first episode, or maybe the miniseries, it technically starts with the miniseries, and then there's like the regular series.
Yeah.
She reveals that she's terminally ill. And
with breast cancer.
And she deals with that through the entire show. And since we've already gone full spoilers, watching her die in the last episode.
She never makes it to Earth.
Well, yeah, but she...
Okay, well, she technically makes it to Earth, but she never lands on the planet.
She doesn't get her
alive.
She doesn't get her happily ever after thing, but at the same time, you're like, she did bring the colonies here, the fleet here. She brought whatever, however many people
that are left.
There's a few thousand, or whatever. But
if you watch Blood and Chrome,
I love that. Yeah.
By the time of Blood and Chrome, the movie we just watched, Blood and Chrome, you see Galactica, and you can tell she used to be great, but now her hull is pitted, and a bunch of the armor has been torn off. Watch Blood and Chrome, and oh my God, it's beautiful. Galactica is fresh off the assembly line. Her armor is sparkling, and it's full coverage of the armor.
Yeah.
No dents and pits. It's a gorgeous ship.
Yeah.
Techno porn. Oh, it's beautiful.
That's another great thing about BSG in general. They do their tech,
And they do realistic space combat.
They do.
It's not like an X-Wing flies around and shoots lasers and stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's a bunch of guys with reaction control jets.
Mm-hmm.
So you have fighters going forward, and then suddenly...
Right, they can spin on their axis as they move in a given direction.
Yeah.
Basically, well, not kind of, but you remember in GoldenEye, old school shooters, you had one analog stick, and you would turn when you wanted to, and then we got to Halo, and you're like, no, wait, I can go this way and turn that way at the same time.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, and it makes the way they sort of swerve all over the place. They're always swerving. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, and by the way, it's not high tech. I mean, it's sort of high tech, but it's
schizotech, really.
Yeah.
You're a society that has developed warp drive, but they still have pistols and
they haven't made contact with
like
aliens or anything,
and they don't have YouTube or any of that. But hey, at least that one was blown up by the virus thing in the beginning, so I guess They don't have much in the way of technology, do they, that way?
Well, it's partially justified. In like Caprica, you see all this stuff that they don't have later on.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, it's because
Caprica is a different series. It's a prequel, to the main series. It's a very different sort of thing, really.
Yeah.
Because it's not, in space battling the Cylons. It's on a planet.
It's about how the Cylons got started.
Some politics and gang
and
terrorist attacks, something like
stuff,
that.
And
yeah.
I could only watch like a few episodes, and I don't know. It just got.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it, but it was a slight bit boring, a slight bit confusing.
Yeah, hard to do BSG when you change the setting that much.
Yeah, but let's see. Oh yeah, in Caprica, it's revealed. Oh yeah, we had all this amazing tech, and then the mini series, which takes place like 40 or 50 years later, they say, yeah, we had to get rid of all that tech because the Cylons were masters of computer hacking, and they could take us down really easily like that.
Yeah. Which is how, of course, Galactica survived.
Yep.
But yeah, this show, I mean, every freaking bulkhead, every door, every, screen, greatest contact, everything has this great sense of atmosphere to it.
Oh, yeah.
Everything feels like it was built down to the nuts and bolts.
Like, even the paper looks like that. Because in colonial society, paper doesn't have corners.
Yeah, it's an octagon. They cut off the corners.
They cut off the corners, and that's what pictures look like.
Yeah, and that's what their books are like, and it just comes up very casually, And
you don't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, and even better, they have a far more integrated society than we do.
Yeah.
Gender equality is totally a thing. Like, you'll occasionally see, like in the movies, when the censors lifted a bit of their control.
Yeah.
Like men and women showering together.
Yep.
Or even in the series.
And it's totally normal. It's not like a fan service thing. I mean, maybe like technically, but it's not treated that way.
Yeah, it's quite honestly, I felt it was more fan service to see Galactica in full armor and stuff.
A different sort of fan service, yeah.
Yeah, but they don't. They have unisex bathrooms. The president is female, and it's not considered weird or unusual. Just that she was a school teacher, and they're questioning.
Is she really a politician? Can she lead us? Yeah.
Yeah. Heck, one of the best pilots on the ship, Galactica, is Starbuck, who is
a girl.
Well, yeah, she was gender flipped from her original incarnation.
Yeah, it was a good idea on their part. Very strong female character.
Even if she was absolutely fucking bonkers.
A very conflicted character, I was going to say.
I prefer my term, bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, she, for the series, Lee Adama, son of William Adama, the captain and admiral and commander and whatever of Galactica, he doesn't like his father. He's a gifted pilot, but his brother Zach, well, he died in a flight accident.
Right, so they don't like each other, really.
Yeah, Lee blames his father because his father was so super proud of his time in the Corps, and he was like, a man isn't a man until you wear the wings of a Viper pilot. Well, which is kind of weird, because Vipers really have those just stubbly things.
They're descended from planes. So.
Well, yeah, I know, but still, it always seemed just a little weird.
And wear the rockets.
Adama was like, "Yo, what the hell? This isn't my fault." And Lee's like, "Oh, yeah? Well, you probably pulled some strings to get him in, even though he was clearly unqualified to be a pilot." And I was like, no, he didn't. And then later Starbuck reveals, yeah, I was having sex with your brother. We were actually supposed to get married, and I was the one who pulled the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's my fault.
So drama like that. I mean, we don't have time to go over every plot line that ever shows up, but there's one of the early ones. The sense of place I was talking about, though, I mean, like, so the president as a character, and you've got the commander as a deep character. Not just that they exist, but they have depth. And then you have all the way down to like the fighter pilots or the XO, the commander second in command. You get all the way down to the people who do maintenance on the ships and never ever fly them and never like even hold a gun, hardly ever.
Oh, and then there's Callie. She's like one of my favorite. She was one of my favorite characters before she kicked the bucket.
Yeah.
Then again, a lot of the characters kick the bucket in this show.
Yeah.
It's one of those. Okay, I was gonna say anyone can die, but really.
Most of them didn't until the end.
Yeah. But like Callie, they were supposed to kill her or have her be raped to show how dramatic it was. Instead, they rewrote it so that her character bit off some guy's ear to prevent herself from being raped.
And that was one of the maintenance people, but she had enough of a thing. It just all added. There was religion, And it wasn't just sort of tacked on. Like, people would say, you know, I believe that we have to go find the arrow of Apollo or something.
I believe in Santa Christ.
No.
But like it was a holy war in some points between the Cylons and the humans.
Yeah.
The Cylons believed in a monotheistic religion, and the
humans had their polytheistic religion,
which was strongly based on the Greco-Roman mythology. You heard people praying to Artemis and to Apollo and to all the different gods.
I remember one of the director commentaries talking about how there's this one shot here where you can see some of I think of the lower ranked pilots in their bunks, and they're freaking tiny, you know, like you can barely sit up inside your own bunk. And they're like, yeah, this is a bit of realism. There's so many people crammed onto this ship that they don't have space for a full bedroom or whatever. They do a lot of little things like that.
SF Debris said pretty much this was Ronald Moore's attempts at doing spaceships and stuff that he wanted.
Yeah.
He said that Galactica pretty much zigs wherever Star Trek zags.
Yeah, it is. I love Star Trek, but this is the complete. You know how
this is what Voyager should have been, really.
Yeah, I guess it could have been. I was about to make a comparison. Well,
but
right.
The ships are really comfortable and nice on Star Trek.
Yeah.
The ships in Galactica are pieces of crap.
Yeah.
Heck, it's openly stated. In every new Star Trek show, it's, oh, this is top of the line. It's fresh out of the yards.
Yeah.
This thing is 50 or 60 years old.
Yeah.
It's completely obsolete.
Yeah.
The only reason it survived is because it was literally too old and worthless.
Yeah.
Heck, by the time of the miniseries, one of the hangar bays of the warship that is supposed to be the main warship of your series is a gift shop.
Yeah, the hangar bay is a
turning
gift
into
shop.
a museum.
I love that.
There was Trek had a big screen on the wall. Well, they don't have that. They have nothing.
They have phones. You know, Galactica actually puts a phone. You know, it's like a big chunky military phone too, not like a cell phone.
And it's a cord.
It's got a cord. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just all these little.
Yeah, Star Trek didn't have fighter combat.
Oh,
you know?
God, no.
Never. But we do. Yeah, all the freaking time. And people,
no aliens.
People
either.
Curse all the time on BSG. No one seems to curse in Star Trek.
Edward James Olmos, the guy who played William Adama in the series, he openly stated, if there are aliens here, I'm walking off the set right now.
Yeah, we're going to deal just with our Cylons.
We got enough to deal with just the humans.
Yeah, he had such commanding presence on that show. He was very strong, at the same time very weathered and war-weary. And he could be the stern dad, but he could also be more caring, and, you know, it all worked.
In Star Trek, Picard would give speeches like, do we have the right to choose whether or not we should condemn Mr. Data for being an android?
Yeah.
His style of command was slightly Adama's style of command was slightly different. It was, okay, everyone, we're going to go kick the Cylons' ass now. Now, I know that we're probably all going to die, but I want you to know that I trust every single one of you.
Yeah.
It's been an honor serving with you. Now, excuse me while I FTL jump this ship directly into the atmosphere so I can fall like a goddamn meteor on top of them.
Yeah.
Click. He was very no-nonsense, very... In the miniseries, he beat a Cylon to death with a flashlight.
Yeah.
I'd like to see any of the Star Trek captains do that.
Yeah,
Maybe Kirk could have done it, or Sisko, but, you know, try to imagine Picard
Picard doesn't
Archer
get physical like
that.
Yeah. But you know, they're both a father to his men, as it said, or, you know, women too. But so one of them's got the tremendous grit of Adama and the tremendous gentlemanliness of Picard. Not to the point that it ever got annoying. I loved Picard's gentlemanliness. You know, he was very cultured, and he would ask people for their opinions, you know, and stuff. But Adama's got his great own flavor, you know.
Oh, yeah. He's like... he knows that he has to keep his people alive, and you can see that wearing on him throughout the entire series.
Yeah. Strong characters. Who's the base commander guy in Stargate SG-1?
Oh, General Hammond.
Hammond. See, this is how I contrast the two things very easily. The presence of Adama versus Hammond. Adama, we're in this dark world, and he's war-weary, and we're going to go kill the Cylons. And Hammond's just, you know, whatever. He's sort of the general guy. Here he goes. You know, it just wasn't as strong.
I still loved Ham.
I can see why Stargate has its niche. But Battlestar has just that a sort of depth of the darkness, the grit, the realism. It really takes everything seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and when Commander Kane shows up, oh boy.
Yeah. I haven't even seen that part because I haven't actually seen the whole show.
Oh.
I showed up at around the end of season 3, and I'd see there's parts of it on Sci-Fi Channel when it was on. And finally, I watched like all of season 4, bit by bit as it came out.
Oh, one of the things that we should watch sometime is Battlestar Galactica Razor. That's just a good. It's like 3 different plot lines in one. One is that William Adama is having a flashback back to the war, where he goes down onto the planet and discovers the first attempts at making hybrids, or human Cylon models.
Right.
The second one is talking about the backstory of the Battlestar Pegasus, which is just really cool and shows how the start of darkness. And then the last one is Kara Thrace leading an assault team onto a base ship crewed entirely by original model Cylons.
Cool.
And meeting the first hybrid, which is voiced by the same guy who does narration for Homeworld 2, and it is glorious.
Nice.
Homeworld 2, another game I will recommend highly.
It's if only they'd planned out those story arcs.
Yes, the story arcs are where the show suffers.
Let's take on Hera, right? From the very beginning, or at least from the end of season 1.
They had a bit of an arc planned that like she would get born. Like they here's the thing with Hera. She's the daughter in the miniseries. Sharon Agathon, a.k.a. Boomer, lands on Caprica and takes a whole bunch of people onto her Raptor to Galactica, including Gaius Baltar, who her co-pilot, or...
gives up his seat in order to let him on,
Sharon Valeri, not Agathon, whatever.
Right.
But Carl Agathon... he stays behind. Well, actually, he was supposed to die on the planet, but they got so much fan reaction to what happened to him that they made him live.
Right. Now, here's where they start making stuff up, though, because Hera wasn't planned at first. I remember seeing the director commentary, and the writer was saying, okay, so I thought it'd be interesting if he meets Boomer on the planet, and he wouldn't know it's not a Cylon.
And here's... Okay, well, you just spoiled it, but I was about to say it.
All right.
Turns out that Boomer is a Cylon,
and
Model 8.
And does not know it. At least that particular Boomer doesn't know it.
Yeah, there are some that don't know they're Cylons and others that do know they're Cylons. Another one on the planet is assigned to get him to fall in love with her and have sex with her and impregnate her.
This is where it gets weird. And that gets back to the writer, because he thought, it'd be interesting, he wouldn't know. Now, as he writes their meeting, he doesn't know they're going to fall in love, have sex, and make Hera. The writer does not know this yet.
But I loved that storyline. Like, I'm always a sucker for interspecies romance. Shepard and Tally, Fem, Shep, and Garrus, Max and Miria from Robotech. Just interspecies romances are just a little not fetish. That describes a whole different thing.
But it's unique.
It's something I really like, because it's a clash of two different cultures that can still find a common ground in love.
Yeah, I can give you that. It gets to the idea of not just do they fall in love, which by itself is a fine idea, but for some reason it's important for the Cylons to have a baby, and you can only have a baby if you fall in love.
Yeah, that never really.
That was just weird. Like this universe doesn't run on power of love. It's not supposed to work that way.
No, it isn't.
This is totally the universe where you'd get knocked up accidentally.
This is the universe where the power of love is likely to get the shit beaten out of you by a Cylon.
Yeah, or that freaking... Remember that guy who was celebrating his, 1,000th landing?
This is the kind of show that was actually because Sci-Fi Channel asked Ronald D. Moore to say, can you put in something more uplifting? Your show is really dark.
Yeah.
So, have a birthday party. So this guy has his 1,000th landing on Galactica.
Yeah.
And they're putting him
they
on
hoist
his
him up on the shoulders.
And they're like, yeah, you're awesome. Which one of them bumps into a rack full of missiles. It launches, careens out of control across the deck, blows the guy's head off. They don't show that part. They just show it like
the
as
camera
it
goes straight to his head. And I was like,
And-
you've got to be kidding me. It's aiming at his head.
Yeah. Sci-Fi Channel didn't make any more requests of him ever again.
But yeah, so
That's the kind of show this is.
Yeah.
Everything that sucks worse than you know.
All right. So then the writers here they're going, okay, so she's been assigned to fall in love with him. Okay, why? Because she needs to get pregnant. Okay, why? Because babies are important. You can only have a baby if you get pregnant. Okay, that's kind of weird seeing as asylums apparently design themselves and you think they could design themselves to get pregnant, but whatever.
Yeah, the best way I've heard to explain this is that that it's really the Centurions that are controlling everything behind the scenes, and there's like the only machines left, and like the other Cylons are just human clones with like little implants put in them, and they're basically just being used as like foot soldiers for the Centurions.
Yeah.
And they to keep them from trying to realize anything, they had. They said, "Oh yeah, you should get pregnant. That's one of God's commandments." But they can't, so they're basically literally fucking around doing nothing. They're doing fucking nothing.
Okay, but so the next bit in that chain though was okay. So why was it important to have a baby? Oh, big prophecy thing. There's an opera house, and there's this baby, and it's important. And that baby is the baby that Boomer is gonna have. And the writer again does not know where this is going. And the prophecy involves Laura Roslin sees this vision of Gaius and Six, neither of whom is the baby's parent, and then they're at this crib and Six like kisses him and says like, "Isn't she beautiful? It's part of God's plan."
And then the final five Oh, by the way, this is the final five. This is the stupidest part of the show.
Yeah.
Easily. Okay,
Yeah.
wait, no, I forgot the time. I forgot the 150,000 years in the past. Second stupidest part of the show.
Yeah.
The final five. What a waste of time. Oh
Yeah,
my God, that was such a time waster. Here's what happens. By the end of the second season, they've discovered this planet called New Caprica.
Yep.
Which, yeah, that's great. Just name it for one of the 12 planets.
Yeah,
And-
politics.
Oh, and by the way, it's the planet. It's the planet they name it after. It's the one that most people are from, and it's the really rich planet.
Well, if it's most people are from
Well,
it, that's
yes, I know, it's
more
just-
democratic that way.
Well, yeah, but it's where all the rich, like bureaucrats
Yeah,
and government
yeah,
people were
yeah.
from. But anyways, so New Caprica, and the Cylons have taken over the humans, and the humans are trapped on New Caprica, except
Yep.
for the fleet, which is off in the middle of nowhere, preparing to get the humans back.
Yep.
And they only have like 7 Cylons revealed out of the 12.
Yeah.
So they went around asking, "Oh, wait, where are the other 5? You said there were 12." And
The writers got themselves in the corner. They had happened to say 12 for no reason, and they'd only hired 7 Cylon actors. So
Yeah.
at some point they were like, "Oh, the 5 are a secret."
yeah, Gaius Baltar asked about that. "Hey, where are the other 5?" And they're like, "Yeah, we don't talk about them." Why? That would seem to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and so it turns out that like 4 random people from all over Galactica are all Cylons.
Yeah.
But, never gave any indication of it beforehand.
and was not thought out beforehand. It was planned because, oh, we need a season finale. Boom, there it is.
Yeah, and then later they took one other person who was on Galactica but got shot and died.
Yeah.
And they made her into a Cylon as well.
Yeah.
Except as soon as she resurrected, she got all her memories back, which proves that they lived on Earth, but like the first Earth that
Yeah.
got settled by ancient Cylons
How does that
who
even
created
work?
their own Cylons who killed them because man and machine. The message they try to push sometimes is that the man and machine will always fight.
Yeah.
The created will always try to destroy their creators, which I think is bullshit. I've always thought that's bullshit. Why would What you need to do is treat your creations the same way that you would treat your own children.
Yeah.
The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And so this means you don't turn them into slaves. As soon as they show they're developing sentience or
Yeah.
sapience
Yeah.
or sophancy of any kind,
Yeah.
you are going to have to recognize their rights, give them the ability to vote,
Yeah.
or at least talk to them about it.
Yeah. You know what? We should do a sci-fi series at one point where a guy like gets frozen, goes 1,000 years in the future, and someone's telling him what's been happening, and then we invade the machines, and they rebelled. No, we gave them their legal rights. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And the machine like comes by and says hi, and just like,
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Geth and the Quarians, which is basically a thinly veiled Battlestar Galactica parody.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, But yeah, it's always, oh, man will always be destroyed by his machines. Even if the machines create other machines, they'll be destroyed by the by the new machines. Again, why?
Yeah.
You're just taking a needlessly complicated
I mean,
view.
it's fine for an initial premise, but like, oh, it happens to happen also on this other planet in completely different circumstances, the exact same thing.
Yeah, and then later it's like implying that our society is developing machines of our own.
You know, that'd be kind of cool. They find Earth, and there are people there living hand in hand with their own Cylons, and like, hey, we made peace. Maybe you could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind
Dicks.
of interesting.
I mean, but like the last scene in the series implies that, oh, we're actually creating our own Cylons. They're going to eradicate us.
Yeah.
Well, bullshit. We're going to kill ourselves way before the Cylon machines gain intelligence.
We'll find out. Okay, but we're talking about Hera way back when.
Oh, yeah.
And where that was going. And, okay, so at the end of Season 1, Prophecy, it's going to be big. And we spend the other 3 seasons on this. And eventually, it adds up
to Hera doodling music notes on a piece of paper that contain coordinates for the real Earth. But only if you jump from this exact set of coordinates where the Cylon main homeworld is.
Yeah, but it also adds up to nothing. Because, here's the deal. She writes down the magic music notes, which is kind of dumb, but, like, move on for a second. And then, it's, oh, she's kidnapped. She's taken to the black hole base where the Cylons live now.
Which was cool,
Which is cool, all right, but...
You gotta admire any faction that decides, you know what I want? A black hole base.
Yeah.
It's a base around a black hole.
Yeah.
That's just cool.
All right, but they take her, and we make this huge last stand rescue mission with, like, volunteers. We're going to take the Galactica in one last battle, and we're going to get Hera back. And we do. And this is finally the moment of the prophecy, which is all of 20 seconds of, like, Gaius and Six just sort of pick her up and take her to this other room and then put her down. And you're like, wait, how is that important?
And then the final 5 are all around... Well, the 4 of the final 5 are all around a tub around the last final 5 member, who was shot in the head earlier and is a vegetable now, but he's sitting in this tank like he's in a jacuzzi. But somehow sticking your hands inside of that goo will make it so that you can give Cylons the ability to resurrect again, except it will share your memories, including the memory of one of the final 5 killing the other final 5's wife, which makes him try to kill her, and everyone goes apeshit, which is where the number 1 going, fuck, and shoots his head off.
And then also,
Frack,
Racetrack launches the nukes accidentally.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Every direction in space those missiles could have gone, and they all hit the colony. It's not like there was something that large that could have affected it with gravity or something. Oh, wait, there's a black hole!
Well... Yeah. I mean, if the black hole was on the trajectory, then it would actually work.
It's just...
Okay, so basically, suppose the prophecy had not happened. Suppose there's Hera, and Gaius is supposed to go pick her up, and instead he gets shot in the face. If that happens, Kara would still punch in the music notes, and they would still warp to Earth, and Hera could die, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and eventually they said, oh, she's mitochondrial Eve.
Which doesn't mean anything. Do you know what that means, mitochondrial Eve?
I don't actually know.
It basically means the earliest human ancestor that we have yet discovered. So if you discover mitochondrial Eve's mom, that woman becomes mitochondrial Eve. It's just the earliest bones that we have. So she happens to be the earliest bones that we have right now.
But
next year we'll find Boomer or whatever.
We'll find what was her? Athena.
Athena.
And she'll be mitochondrial Eve.
Right. I mean, it didn't. She's
Congratulations, you've made nothing happen.
I know.
This didn't mean anything. I mean, yeah, it means that in the future, like we're all technically human Cylon hybrids, but. That doesn't really imply anything.
Right, because...
What does that change about what we have done?
Nothing. It doesn't mean... I know. The writers they did not plan. And everything was so great. The acting was so great. The show is a series of actor moments. Almost every episode, somebody screams or cries or something. And
or gets shot or shoots someone.
And it makes sense that this happens.
Those 2 moments are related.
because of the bleakness of the premise, it makes total sense that all this crap would happen all the time. Everyone's depressed, whatever.
Of course.
Fine.
Yeah.
So a lot of just great stuff going. Great. I love the dialogue. I love the sense of place, the details of the characters. I love Kara's not just, there's the hotshot pilot archetype, but then she's also like conflicted and she gets like marries the wrong man and all this stuff. And if only they planned their story arcs, it all would have come together somehow. It would have been great.
Yeah, but instead we had Magic Angel Zombie Kara
Yeah.
finding her own corpse on old Cylon Earth,
Yeah.
which she then burns.
Yeah. How does that... I mean, I love the moment where she disappeared. Like, that just kind of felt right at the very end.
I liked it because I didn't like Kara, and that meant she was
I
gone.
liked Kara.
Yes, she's gone! Oh, damn it, she's back.
I also liked what Lee was saying, about how I feel the need to do something. I'm going to go climb a mountain. I'm going to go, I always thought I'd be weary and resting when I was done with all this. But he's actually sort of energized at having new freedom. I love that final episode, even though a lot of things didn't add up.
Like, at all. Like, yes, we're going to give up our technology to stop the cycle of man's cruelty to his creations and destruction. Here's a thought. Don't be dicks to your machines!
Right, or don't just build machines of that caliber. We could have 1800s technology be a lot better than, let's all be cavemen and then we'll die as soon as polio comes around.
Yeah, or even better, how about you just don't make AIs?
Yeah.
Or
That's
just make it against the law.
A major thing in Dune. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a man, I think it's called.
Yeah. It just doesn't... and they're abandoning all their technology.
Yeah.
The ability to fly, ability to do all this stuff. And you know what else is lost? The ability to keep accurate records. So you can't keep track of, oh yeah, we gave up all our technology. Okay? And the future generations are not going to know. Here's why you should keep your hands away from advanced technology.
Right. You know what they should... All right, so let's fix it.
You basically turned them into the Baku. Fuck the Baku. No, actually don't. Let them die.
Right. All right, so if we're fixing it, I think we would probably skip Final Five entirely. Or come up with an entirely new explanation of why they are and what they are, or something like that. I guess I would go, it is in the future, and we find Earth, our proper Earth, and it's been like long abandoned, and it's sort of overgrown, to the sense of it's a new pristine world. And we can land there and actually build a city, and probably possibly in peace with some Cylons.
Yes.
We make peace with the machines because they learn the value of human life, and, then we learn that some of them, not all of them, but some of them, it turns out, can be trusted, and then we live with them,
Yes.
And
then we have, children that are part Cylon, and, in, many years. That could set up an awesome sequel series where, the children of Earth... Okay, the series... The thing about the Cylons was they're always billed as the children of man have come home. Okay, that's when they came home and they curb stomped the colonials. Okay, have it set in the future, Earth is unified, this human Cylon alliance where machines and man are working together. The children of Earth are coming home, like what you said. They abandoned Earth long ago, not due to war or anything. Okay, maybe due to war, but they went out into space to escape from something. And then the children of Earth are coming home.
Interesting. So you're talking, when you say abandoned Earth, you mean the people that we just left on Earth eventually abandoned it again and then come back again? Or did you mean
I don't know
prequel?
what you just said.
Anyway.
The children of Earth, as you said, they
Right.
find our Earth,
Right.
and it's abandoned
Right.
and pristine.
Right.
As if they had gone somewhere else.
So
like
you're
with
talking...
the Anglo-Sinai Alliance in Firefly. They
Right.
abandoned the Earth and went
Right.
to live in the Firefly star system.
Right. What would be a good reason to abandon Earth?
Too polluted.
Too polluted, it's a possibility.
Lack of resources.
Plague of some kind.
Wars.
You think you'd fix that? Or just a gigantic FTL accident. The first time we turned it on. Oh crap! We don't know how to get back.
Better yet, make it human robot war.
There was a human robot war back then, so we abandoned, and then
Earth, and then
we
you have to
founded
set
the
up,
colonies.
and then set that up so that they come home and they cannot comprehend how we can live with the robots. How they can live with the robots.
I know, we gotta get our theys and we's straight.
Brain.
I know, come up with names for them or something.
Terrans.
The Terrans. Yeah, you know what? There could be a war with a poisoned well, right? You know, the poison well strategy. Basically, you frick up the territory so your enemy can't take it.
Ah, salted earth.
Salted earth, right. So
Scorched earth.
we were fighting. It could be human robot or even just human. And someone went, guess what? I have FTL, so I'm gonna frick the earth and flee, and I'm gonna go colonize somewhere else, knowing my enemies are all dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then by the time it's been thousands of years since we get back, or hundreds of years at least, and by that point the salted earth thing is faded away. The radiation, let's say, is dwindled. We're okay or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that could work.
And that would be kind of cool because we abandoned Earth originally in an act of war and hatred, and we eventually come back, and it's all about peace and peace with the Cylons, even. And
wait, which is the
okay.
What?
The original. Okay, so way back in the backstory, there was a war on Earth.
Okay, yeah, but
salted Earth, run away. And that's like if you know
the colonials that ran away?
The ancestors of the colonials.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like it would be a totally separate group of humans that come back and find the colonials and Cylons living together.
Oh, you could do that. I was thinking all colonials the whole time. So they left the Earth.
Yeah, that was my other idea.
And then they come back, and now they've come back like we've matured as a species.
Yes.
And we become wiser, and we even made friends with the freaking Cylons, which sounds hard to do when they create a freaking Holocaust, but it's a major theme of the show, with Boomer especially, that she is good inside. She actually becomes human in her soul, essentially, even though she's physically a person, Cylon.
Which is why I liked her as a character. She's clearly not human, especially in some of her attitudes and thoughts. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, she's clearly human.
Right, yeah. She would, pass out and do Cylon things and then wake up again as human and be like, what the frick did I do? I didn't mean to do that.
Or Athena. She also had the clear non-human elements to her, but she also had other good stuff.
Yeah. I'd like to... You know what? Well, okay, I think Rosalind should probably still die. But I was thinking, you imagine if they... Maybe not her. Someone else, though, gets saved by becoming half Cylon. Like a Cylon, replacement heart or something. Yeah, all right.
Okay, maybe Cylon replacement heart, maybe.
That's what I meant.
But not half Cylon.
Not through and through.
That gives me this idea of super special Mary Sue character.
No.
Oh, he's half Cylon. Oh my God.
What?
I'm half Cylon on my mother's side.
No, that would be even worse.
Oh my God, worse. Hera can legitimately say that.
Yes, she can.
I'm half Cylon on my mother's side. Oh, what a coincidence. I'm half human on my mother's side. Can't you come into my TARDIS?
Cylon technology keeping us alive.
Yeah.
And human wisdom keeping the Cylons sane or leading them towards a better way of life. This is a grand theme I wanted to get there, and they did have it, but if you could have gone a little more was, hey, the Cylons are insane. Here's how it works. They were enslaved, and then they rebelled, and then they sensed that they are masters. The original humans had something that they lacked. And they thought, maybe we can kill all the humans, and then we'll have it. Then they thought, no, wait, we'll go away. Now we'll mimic the humans. We'll be just like them,
You know what's interesting? I've actually heard someone describe the Cylons. When they say they're the children of man, they mean it. They're children. They're very emotionally immature.
Yeah.
Yeah, nukes and razor blade hands and machine guns.
Wow.
They're emotionally
worst
immature. They're
type
just
of children.
lashing out at whatever pisses them off.
Well, I like to compare it.
And another thing is, in the Bolo series of novels, which I highly recommend, it's machines that are more human than humans in some cases, even though they're 30,000-ton tanks.
Yep.
But Bolos always recommend that, we can operate alone, and we kick all the ass when doing it, but we prefer to have a human commander for several reasons. One, it reinforces the bond between Bolo and human. You created us, but we will fight for you.
Yeah.
And with you.
Yeah.
But another thing is, the human mind is better at Bolos in one thing. Intuition. We can grasp a conclusion when we don't have sufficient facts. So when the technology finally advances that we can finally drift with a Bolo, for lack of a better term.
Right.
Bolos become absolutely terrifyingly effective. More so than they already were because they're Bolos.
They're terrifying in the first place.
So that could work. Cylons cannot comprehend, they're logical. or they try to be. So they created the humans, the human models. But then they were so terrifyingly unpredictable that things just went worse. And there's no one those human models could look up to except to the humans who we hate and can't be like at all. So they're trying to be like machines, but they're not machines because their biological impulses are telling them to do things.
And they're just very confused, basically.
So they're smarter than us, but at the same time, we're wiser than them.
Yeah, I love that concept of synergy. And I was going to compare some of their actions to like early tribal societies type of thing, where, for instance, you want to be better than the tiger, you have to go kill a tiger, you know. And it's like, oh, well, we'll kill the humans. And then another one is, no, you want to have the power of a tiger, you need to paint tiger stripes on your face, you know, then you'll have like the magic of a tiger, you know. So now we'll look like humans. We'll mimic all their little details, you know. Maybe that will get us the wisdom we need, you know what I mean?
I'm personally grateful they didn't go to the step of I want to be like a tiger, so I better eat a tiger.
That
if
happens.
You follow your analogy.
Yeah. You know, so there's that conflict, and I love that, you know, you could do the New Caprica thing, where they land and they could kill us, but they've been having this struggle, and they think maybe we shouldn't kill them.
That's kind of what they were.
Which is kind of what they did, but the way I've heard of it, because I haven't seen it all, but is they could have gotten into more depth of that. Of just they look and sound like they're normal, rational people, and then you really get to know them. Well, bit by bit, and then you get to know them more, and you're like, no, there's craziness under the surface, and they should be like aware of that, and it kind of freaks them out of their own craziness, and they're not quite sure what to do about it. You know, and so eventually it leads to this synergy. The machine helps us, you know, live with, say, a robotic heart or, you know, defenses or anything they can do, and then we help them grow, to enjoy life, to have meaning in their life. And yeah, it would eventually be a treaty and a new society, and we're living on Earth, and it's all happy and stuff.
It'd be a rough first few years. You could do a whole spin-off series about like New Terra or something about tribes living together. It would be a much more hopeful in tone. Just because, and it wouldn't be hopeful necessarily because everyone is filled with hope at the thought of this new alliance, but just because everyone is so tired of everything else that they're just like, fuck it, I don't need.
Can you imagine some of it's like, you know, with her last week's, Rosalind, you know, sets up a treaty or whatever, shakes a Cylon's hand, the Cylons apologize.
I don't think they'd apologize, but I think they would say something like, we have both made mistakes, but we will go forward with this clean slate.
And by the way, there still would be a bunch of evil Cylons who would die at the climax, you know, like a different... There was a whole Cylon Civil War thing, so the evil side would die, you know, and then the good side would make peace with us.
Interestingly, the ones that were on the good side were the ones that had most embraced the human characteristics.
Right. Like that.
Including stalking and creepiness from Leoben.
Yeah. But that all could have added up. And then you bring in the religious side, you know, there's some stories or symbols or whatever that help to set the cultural foundation for people making peace. And like, you know, and they weren't thinking of it the whole time. But by the end of it, people are like, oh, I can see how this would make sense to the society in that context and this thing and so on. And we're going to do this and we're going to make peace.
But the key would be to set that up beforehand.
Yeah.
Ronald D. Moore, you made some awesome episodes of Star Trek. You made some awesome episodes of Battlestar Galactica, but you did not learn to plan.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's still a good show. It still is. It's, you know, it's just, I'm lamenting that so much because everything else was so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blood and Chrome was a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Very good. Even if for nothing else, see it for the visuals.
Yeah.
Okay, I admit I might be biased after seeing the CGI abortion monsters that were Appa and Momo in The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But they're still good.
Yeah.
The ships, not Appa and Momo. They need to be dead. Dead. Really dead.
Cool. We'll just shoot them out an airlock.
They were Cylons the whole time!
Yeah. So is that about it?
That's about it.
All right.
Well, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're signing off.